Hi everybody, this is Ali. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make these super cute clear vinyl zipper pouches. These zipper pouches are very easy to make. They're definitely for beginner. So if you're someone who are beginning to try and you're a little bit interested in working with clear vinyl, this is a great project to get started because you will not need a Teflon foot, which is, the feet that you definitely is recommended when you are using vinyl because it will help not get the foot stuck to the fabric. But with this pouch, you will not need that, and it's very easy. It's like 3-4 steps and it's done. So definitely beginner friendly. The only thing I would recommend is that you put like a little piece of tissue on the bed of your sewing machine to help the vinyl slide through. But other than that, you will not need any special Teflon foot or anything to make these pouches. I have made these pouches before. I had them in a set of 3. I used to sell them at another business I used to have. But today I decided to do only 2, the small size and the medium size. Now the small size is perfect for travel. I still use them for personal use when I'm traveling. This is the approved side for a TSA so that you can put your toiletries in here. And then the other one is a little bit bigger, and it was great to hold all my electronics, and it will fit perfectly in my carry-on bag. So that's how I use them, but of course you can use them for different things, to store craft supplies, documents, pencils, brushes, anything, makeup, anything like that. These are great. So we're going to be making today the small and the medium. Because of the size, this is a perfect project for any scrap fabric you have laying around, because all you need is literally 3 strips of fabric and a little piece of clear vinyl. So even if you don't have clear vinyl around the house, if you get just a 1/4 yard, you will be able to make several of these. So this is a great project because it doesn't require a lot of material. You will need to be able to install some snaps. I use this fashion metal snaps. You can also use any other type of snap, but you do definitely need something that you can close this, because this is kind of like a handle, but it works perfectly because you can hang this on anything, on a doorknob, in a bathroom, in a book bag, anywhere. It's because it's very long, it will pretty much fit anywhere. So you can definitely, this is a very handy feature of this zipper pouch. And so as you can see, for the small one, we're using quilting cotton today. And for the medium size one, we are using waterproof canvas. So I wanted to show you how to make the binding using the waterproof canvas, and we're going to also make it with quilting cotton. If you have faux leather, it will be the same technique as the waterproof canvas. Now, before I go, if at any point you like what you see, would you please like this video? It helps me more than you know. And if you like what you see and you want to be notified when I upload the next video, would you please subscribe and hit the bell? That way you'll know when I am ready to show you the next project. Now, this project is part of a series that I want to do showing you how to work with clear vinyl. And I'm going to be showing you other projects that you can also make using clear vinyl. So go ahead and check out the first video, after you watch this one, of course, showing you how to cut the clear vinyl. Okay, you guys, thank you so much, and let's get this project started. So first, let's go over the materials that you're going to need to complete these 2 pouches. For the small clear water pouch, I am using a piece of vinyl, and then for this one we're going to use the Quilting Cotton fabric, and I cut 3 strips of fabric. The measurements are down in the description of this video. For the medium size, again, I have a piece of vinyl as well. And for this one, we're going to use the waterproof canvas. And again, I have 3 strips of fabric, and the sizes of these strips of fabrics are down in the description as well. Any additional materials that you will need during the sewing process is clips. I use these Wonder clips, and also I use like paper clips like this. You will need double-sided tape. This is the 1/4 inch double-sided tape. You can also use 1/8 of an inch if that's what you have, but this is the one I'm going to use for this project. You're going to need a zipper, and if you notice, this is open. So you will get 1 zipper for both pouches. And I open my zipper up and I divide it. But I will need 2 zipper pulls, so 1 for each pouch. I cut the zipper as big as the largest pouch that I'm making. So for this is going to be for the medium size, and I add 2 inches to that. And for the snap, I use my cam snaps, and so these are metal snaps. You can use the plastic ones if you want. That it's okay. I'm going to need 2, right? 1 for each pouch. And these are the dies that I use to install my snaps. This is for my cam snap tabletop. And I will also use this other die to punch the hole in my fabric before installing the actual metal snaps. You can use obviously whatever tool you have to open a hole to your fabric, and any snaps that you have, but you do need something to secure the handle for your pouch. Another tool I use constantly when I'm using quilting cotton is an iron. This is my cordless iron. The mat, this is a wool mat, and I always use some sort of starch. I just love how it looks. It's so crisp. It maintains the fabric in place. It just makes it a lot easier when you're sewing and your cotton fabric is stiff. So this will help, and this will do the job. Next, we're going to prep the binding using the waterproof canvas. Because it's a fabric that you can leave the raw edges exposed, you don't need to have it cut with a wide width. 1 inch is good. I like 1 1/8 inch. And what I do is that this is the fabric, this is the PVC coating, which is kind of like a plastic. If I want to make binding using waterproof canvas, I fold my piece of fabric in half, and then I use an iron to press it. But you have to be careful not to leave the iron in there for too long, because the PVC will melt, and once it melts and it touches both sides, it's going to stay stuck together. It's like a glue. See? Look. It's now stuck together. Of course, I can open it, but now it won't let me open it because I didn't open it fast enough. So that's what happens when you put too much heat and pressure on your waterproof canvas when making binding. But if you don't do that, you can continue to just carefully use your iron all along your fabric, just so that you can mark the center crease and help the fabric from opening. And it's just way easier to work when you're sewing. but don't leave it there for too long or it will melt and it will get stuck. They will stick together. So you can use the iron on your waterproof canvas. You just cannot leave it there for too long. See? Now we're going to attach the binding and the zipper to the clear vinyl. So you're going to take a long piece of your binding. Make sure that you don't pick the one for the handle that's supposed to be the smallest. So you pick one of the long pieces and you're going to match the edges, the raw edges here on both sides, and take your clips. The best way that I prevent my fabric from moving is by putting tons of clips. So to join the binding to the top part of your clear pouch, you would do the same thing that you did with the bottom. Now, we don't take it to the sewing machine right away. Now we're going to join half of your zipper. And for that, your zipper has to be a little bit bigger than your vinyl piece. So you want to have at least 1 inch over the edge of your vinyl. Okay, so this is 1 inch, approximately right there. And I'm eyeballing it, but you know, that's good. Okay, now we're going to simply add more clips to this binding and zipper. Making sure that my binding is right at the edge right here of the zipper teeth. So this will be the front of my bag, my pouch, and this will be the back of the pouch. Now we're going to take it to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch the top part of the clear pouch. We're not going to start right at the edge here. You're going to start at about a 1/4 inch from the edge, and you're going to stitch all along the top and then along the bottom edge at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance from the bottom edge and 1/8 of an inch seam allowance from the top edge. Make sure your stitch length is 4 millimeters. This is vinyl that we're sewing. So as you can see, we finished the top part of the pouch and we stitched very close to the zipper and then at the bottom edge of that binding as well. Now let's continue by stitching the bottom binding. The difference with the bottom binding is that I am not going to stitch both sides of the binding. I'm only going to stitch the top part of the binding. Okay, so take it to the sewing machine and do that part of the binding. Now that we have attached our binding, what we're going to do is attach the zipper pull to the zipper, okay? For that, what we need to do is that we need to fold our pouch. So this is the inside and this is the outside, and we're just going to fold it in half, and we're going to make sure that our raw edges are aligned here. They're matching. Okay, so we have the matching here at the zipper and as well as along the side of the pouch. So I'm just going to take a clip and I'm just going to put it down there. I don't put the clips in the clear vinyl, okay? And I'm just going to put another clip somewhere in there. So there are different ways that you can insert the zipper pull. Okay, so what I do is that I use a fork to install the zipper pull. And this is just a fork. And if you find something that will keep the fork stable, they sell some tools for this. You can look online. But what I do is that I just place my zipper pull there and I take my pouch, right? Like this, and I simply just make sure that both sides of the zipper tape match, they're aligned, and I just insert them right there into the zipper pull or pull, and there it is. After I do that, I take my Wonder clip and I place it right there because I don't want my zipper pull to come off the zipper tape as I am turning the pouch inside out. Okay, now it's time to add the side binding, which is also known as the handle, and finish this pouch. Once the zipper pull is in there and it's being, stopped by the Wonder clip, now I can turn my pouch inside out without worrying that the zipper pull is going to come off the zipper tape. Okay. There it is. Okay. Beautiful. Now we're going to trim off any excess fabric. We just want to make sure that the edge right here of our pouch is not crooked, that it aligns. Everything looks good. I usually at this point put a couple of clips down here to keep it in place. So I don't want it to move. I don't want the fabric to move around. And I just make sure that everything looks like it's straight. And I now will trim off the excess zipper here at the corner. So as you can see, I am aligning the edge of my pouch with this line just to make sure that it's straight. I don't want to trim off the excess zipper and it's crooked, right? You can use your rotary cutter for this and your ruler and cut it, or you can use scissors like I'm getting ready to do and just trim off the excess. Okay, now we're going to take the other strip of fabric that we have for this pouch and we're going to align it right here at the bottom edge. So it's going to be square like that. Okay, and we're going to put some clips in here. And here's the part where you need to be a little bit careful. Before you start adding the binding for the side, you want to make sure that your zipper here is not going to be crooked like this. Okay, you don't want it to be like that. What you want is that you want the binding and your zipper to be square off, okay, to be straight like this, so that it looks nice when it's completed. So I'm just going to take a wonder clip and place it there. So you see, it's evened out, it's straight, it looks straight. That may move some of the vinyl around here at the bottom, but don't worry about it. We'll make it work, okay? So it can look professional and it can look like something that, you know, is nice and done correctly. Okay, so just move this around and you'll feel it. It'll be smooth, and that's what you want. You want it to be smooth. So once you feel it that it's smooth, and you are going to start adding your binding. So it's just, you know, you fold it in half, you take that one pin and you add your binding right there and immediately place the pin. And do this keeping the fabric, keeping the pouch against your cutting mat or your table here, so that way you make sure that it's always smooth and even. So we're getting here to the part where the zipper is. When we get to that part, we just simply remove the other clip, and just make sure that you move the fabric around so that it's, you know, looking good and straight. Now we're going to take this to the sewing machine. And before you do that, just make sure that you see here at the bottom of the pouch, it kind of shifted a little bit, it moved a little bit. You can just move your fabric so that it matches the bottom edge. And of course, you're more than welcome to use clips to clip it in place. Make sure to follow the stitching path that I'm getting ready to show you. That is going to be super important to finish this pouch correctly. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start here at the bottom. And I'm going to stitch it at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance and also 4mm stitch length, maybe 3.5 stitch length. I backstitch at the beginning when I'm sewing. I like to backstitch. I know people don't recommend to backstitch for vinyl, because once you open that hole, you know, it doesn't close. But sometimes I like to reinforce my stitching a little bit just at the beginning, so I do backstitch there. And I'm going to continue all the way to the very end, okay? So here, what I'm going to do, make sure your needle is down. I'm going to lift my presser foot. I'm going to pivot my project, and I'm going to lower my presser foot and keep on stitching. But I'm now starting to stitch on the outer side of my binding. Also at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance from the edge. Now we're getting to the part here where the zipper is. And this part, it's a little bulky, okay? So right here, this part is a little bulky. So what you're going to do is that you're going to go over it carefully, okay? One little bit at a time. And once you get past the zipper teeth, you're going to back stitch again, 1, 2, and then do it again, and then forward, okay? That way you secure the stitching in that area, because that's going to be an area that is going to be used a lot. We're getting to the very end of the handle here, the binding. And once you get to this point, you're going to try to get as close as you can to the edge, right? So maybe one more stitch. I'm going to back stitch, and I'm going to leave my needle down. I'm going to lift my presser foot. I'm going to turn my handle, lower the presser foot, and then stitch across it, maybe a couple of stitches. Then I'm going to back stitch. I like to secure this area as well, because this area will be used a lot, and we're going to be placing a snap there, and so you want to be able to reinforce it. Lift your presser foot one more time, and now we're going to stitch along the other side of the handle. And then I get here to the very end, and I'm going to back stitch one more time forward. I turn my product one more time, and I am going to stitch over my first stitching. And that's it. Okay, so now that we're done with the waterproof canvas version of this pouch, let's go ahead and do the small one using quilting cotton. Before we go on, if you like what you're seeing so far, would you please type in the comment clear vinyl pouch? That will be really awesome. I would love to see all your comments down below. So the way I make the binding for the pouch when I'm using the quilting cotton is that I take the spray, the starch, and I spray it first, okay? And I fold it in half at first to mark the center crease with the hot iron, okay? And that really helps keep the fabric in place, and it clearly marks the center crease. Then I take the long edge, one of the long edges, and I am going to take the raw edge and fold it towards the center on that center crease. And I'm going to go and iron that as well. I am not adding any more starch because I already added starch at the very beginning. And in some areas, it still kind of feel a little moist from the starch. Okay. Then I'm going to do the same with the other side. You see how stiff it is? It just doesn't move. And I love that. So here I'm folding the other side as well towards the center crease, and with my iron I'm just going along the edges and folding. Okay, and then for the final fold I'm going to fold it in half one more time. Again, I'm not adding any more starch because, to be honest, still kind of feel a little moist here, and I'm just going to press. That's how my binding is done. And so go ahead and do that with the other pieces of binding for the quilting cotton. Let's assemble this clear pouch using the quilting cotton binding. So I take the two pieces of binding, the longer ones, and I'm just going to take the binding and just join the binding to both top and bottom of your clear vinyl, okay, to cover the raw edges along the long edge. Then you're just going to pick one of the sides, whichever one you want. And so now I have to add my top zipper, right? I have to add the zipper. So I just want to make sure the zipper is a little bit longer than my pouch, at least by 1 inch. So here's the edge of my clear pouch, and here's the other edge of my clear pouch. So I just want to make sure I have at least 1 inch overlap. If you have a little bit more, it's even better. And I'm with the teeth facing up, the zipper teeth facing up, you are going to take a little bit of that, you know, that double-sided tape, and you're going to apply some double-sided tape here to the zipper tape. So here's the tape. And let's peel off the other side of the double-sided tape, right? So that's the sticky side right there. And now we're going to take our binding piece and we're just going to place it on top of the tape, the zipper tape. Okay. And as we're placing it, we remove the wonder clip and we just clip it again. We have our top binding, bottom binding, as well as our zipper tape. It's there. Now we're going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch it both top of the binding and bottom of this binding at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, 4 millimeter, 3.5 to 4 millimeter stitch length. We're going to do the zipper part first. Okay, now that we have our zipper pull there, we can turn the pouch inside out. So our pouch is the way it's supposed to look. This is the exterior. And you can actually close the zipper now to make sure that everything is straight and it aligns. Okay, so once we're here, the next thing is that we need to cut flush here the side edge of this pouch. So I'm going to kind of match the bottom edge here, and I'm going to put a clip, and I need to do the same for the zipper part. I am going to make sure that it aligns, that the seams match right here, and that everything looks good. And I'm just going to put a pin right there, okay, to pin it in place. And what I'm going to do in this case is, yes, it's straight. I'm just going to take my scissors, make sure that, you know, it's straight, it matches the line here, and I am going to cut it flush. And the same here at the bottom. Okay, so both bindings are now cut straight on a straight edge, flush to the side of the zipper pouch. Okay, now it's time to add the side binding, which is also known as the handle, and finish this pouch. For the cotton fabric strap, I fold both edges in to cover that raw edge, and then I fold it back to the center and back again so it's not as bulky. And then I do the same with the other side. So I open my binding and I fold it in by about a 1/4 inch. This is, you can eyeball this, it's not exact, but there. And then I just, fold it back in place. And 1/2 and 1/4. I hope you enjoy making these 2 bags. They're super easy to make. And if you want to make some for you for personal use or to sell them, you're more than welcome to do that. I would just love if you would let me know so that I can cheer you on and share it with the rest of the world. So hope you enjoy it, and let me know if you have any questions. I would love to hear from you, and see you in the next video.